welcome. Today, we're going to be going over the land doctrine for mass assault doctrine, okay? The following video format is going to be, we're going to talk about the spirits you get for taking the first doctrine first, then we're going to go through all of the doctrines, and we're going to tell you which side is better, which is the left or right, and then we'll show you some templates at the end, okay? So, to start off with, mass assault doctrine. Mass assault doctrine is an actual okay doctrine, okay? It is not the best, but it does have a purpose and it does have a place, okay? And it is also a meme doctrine, okay? It's better than Grand Battle Plan, pretty much every way. You're going to see why. Superior Firepower and Mobile Warfare are still, in my opinion, better, but this thing does have a place for certain countries, okay? Mass mobilization on this right side is a meme. But some of the countries that could benefit from mass assault doctrine is Russia, and other countries that have a lot of frontage that have low supply use. Okay, another country could be China. Okay, maybe even the Raj. It depends. Basically, the doctrine is going to buff your infantry and your supply consumption reduction and give you a lot of negative penalties, like minuses, on you for being surrounded and all such sorts of stuff, along with reducing your infantry combat width. So if you don't have like massive amounts of tanks, it could be beneficial if you're fighting in a low supply area for the doctrine, okay? So now onto the spirits, okay? So one of the spirits you get for taking mass assault is Queen of Battle. Infantry leader trait XP gain plus 20%, okay? And new officer 50% chance to begin with infantry officer trait, okay? So what this trait is talking about is if we assign a general, it's talking about that you will get infantry leader 20% faster. Woohoo. It is one of the easiest traits to get in the game, and you will almost get it entirely just by using your infantry. So, not amazing. And the 50% chance to gain infantry officer, basically that's a trait just like Panzer leader, just like a Panzer armor officer, which basically is going to be, instead of Panzer leader, it says infantry leader experience gain factor plus 100%. What does that mean? You gain the damn trait even faster. Cool. Fantastic. Not worth it at all. You're going to get the trait anyway. Next, bayonet strength. Infantry experience gain from combat is plus 10%. Okay? Infantry design, motorized design, and mech design are all minus 100%. Now, here's the thing. Most of your infantry designs are going to be you building infantry templates. So, this template, as you can see, has a massive amount of infantry in it, okay? If you now take bayonet strength, you can see that you will be able to design infantry divisions for literally 0, okay? Which is very, very good, okay? And you're only going to need to like add the artilleries onto them, okay? This is amazing, okay? Bayonet strength is amazing because it takes no XP to basically design most of your templates. Most of your templates are either going to be motorized like this, right? And you don't have any cost for your mechanized. And even for your tanks, a lot of the mechanized are going to be, free or basically free, right? And your infantry here are all free. Again, your motorized are all free. This is one of the best things you could possibly get for the design cost minuses, okay? Because every template is going to use infantry in some way. The infantry experience gain from combat factor, right? That's going to get you more XP gain from actual battles, okay? And it will also increase your infantry experience right here. So it'll go faster. Again, very nice buff, but not the main reason you take it. You take it for the literal free cost of everything, okay? Very, very good spirit there. Last thing here is Operational Reserve, okay? Operational Reserve is actually pretty good. It's going to give HP plus 10 and additional Relentless Assault tactic if it's your preferred tactic. So what that means is if Relentless Assault here is right here, if it is in fact your preferred tactic, right, it will be able to be picked more often than not. Again, I don't prefer tactics like this, but if you're going to use tactics, you would need to use one of these with the 100% bonuses on it, okay? And the main key difference here is it gives your HP plus 10%, okay? If you look at your infantry, you can see that the HP stat right here is one of the highest stats besides defense, okay? So it's at 478 right now. If you add a 10% modifier to it, you can see that it is still 478 or 478.2, and you can now see it should in theory go up, but you know, let the days go by, and if it doesn't go up, it doesn't go up. But that is in theory increasing your combat strength, right? For HP, for everything, okay? Just HP in general. Very nice to have. So again, one of the better things you could possibly pick for Division Command. Again, just one of the better ones. Okay. So now on to the Mass Assault Doctrine, okay? We've gone over what countries should have. We've gone over the spirits. Now let's actually look at Mass Assault, okay? So, Mass Assault, the first stat right here you're going to have is Reinforce Rate plus 2%. This is big, okay? Plus 2% Reinforce Rate is actually massive. You only start with 2%. Radios give you 5%. And you get another 2% from Mass Assault, okay? That is going to be key. You're going to see that this is going to start stacking, which means that our reinforce rate means that it's going to be very high, which means we won't be able to be pushed back from positions, okay? So, like, example would be is if we're fighting here and this unit is broken, right? And we have additional units that are already here. So, basically an example would be, instead of, like, let's just say these 2 units have broken, right? They're retreating out of the province because they have broken. This unit has a very high chance that it's still here, but not in the battle, to join the battle and then continue the fight, okay? That's what reinforce rate really gets you, right? It will stop you from being organization memed, okay? An organization means basically your unit that is in this tile doesn't have time to get in the battle before all units get pushed back, okay? And even this unit with full organization will get pushed back. That's what's called reinforced meming, okay? That happens quite a lot. With this doctrine, it is very hard for that to happen to you because of your high reinforce rate, okay? Just remember, the 2% here is very good. The minimum training level, minus 10%, that really doesn't matter. At that point, you're already dead anyway. So good luck with that. Basically, all your men are dead. But you can deploy your men 10% faster, whatever that's worth to you. Just remember, if you actually do deploy them at, negative modifiers, they're going to fight at not regular. They're going to fight at negative 25%. On every combat stat. So again, not really worth it deploying them like that. But hey, if you need them, you need them, okay? Next is going to be pocket defense, okay? So, non-combat out-of-supply penalties, okay? Basically, what this is talking about is reducing the organization penalties that troops suffer when they're out of supplies in non-combat, okay? So, let's say you're out here and you're in this little province right here, right? We're going to put all of our men in this little single province, right? You can start seeing that they're starting to get low supplies here. Supply is starting to go down pretty heavily, okay? You can then tell that this will start to kick in, the non-combat out-of-supply penalties, minus 10%. It'll show in battle, but basically you're just taking less of the penalty for having low supply, okay? That's basically what you're doing, is taking less of a penalty for the low supply. Again, very useful on the Eastern Front, right? And this last thing, supply grace plus 48 hours, okay? So, supply grace is a mechanic that allows you, as a player, to continue to push through enemy lines, right? So, it depends, right? So, basically what it's talking about here is, if you have a unit that's going to come into a province, right? So, you can see that this unit is 100% fully supplied, right? It now has, as soon as it gets to this province, it now has, is going to start taking the penalties for the supplies, right? But in theory, what it means is you can deploy your guys out of a province, right? Have them restack for supply, and then push back in through the provinces, okay? And this is basically the 156 hours is basically how much of a supply grace, right, before they start taking the out-of-supply penalty that you have. Again, very nice to have. It's a deep mechanic that not a lot of people understand, but it is very nice to have, okay? Next, defense in depth. Your max entrenchment goes up by 5, and your leg infantry go up by, or your organization for your leg infantry go by 5, okay? As you can already see, we're shitting on trench warfare because you can see that our max entrenchment is already half, okay, of what Grand Battle Plan gets you. And you get org out of this, okay? Very, very good. Overall, just remember it's only for your leg infantry, not motorized, not mechanized, okay? Now we have come to the split. I'm going to talk about deep battle in the second half, okay? Deep battle is the actual doctrine you go down, okay? If you take mass assault doctrine, you always go down deep battle. Mass mobilization is a meme, okay? It is a meme doctrine. don't actually take this if you plan on winning anything, okay? But it is a meme doctrine, and I'm not going to go into it. Okay, so mass mobilization, the meme doctrine, okay? The first thing here is people's army. So, basically, you're going to have minus 10% division attrition, which is how much damage our division takes from attrition while traversing terrain and shit, okay? It's basically lowering your attrition, and that is good if you are fighting in literally zero supply areas, okay? Like, if you're fighting in Iran and you're fighting in a mountain up here, it's nice to have, okay? The next thing is the damage to enemy garrisons in our state is plus 10%. You're going to start seeing that this is going to start stacking, and you can see why this is a meme doctrine, okay? Next, Infantry Offensive. Your reinforce rate goes up by 5%, and your recovery rate goes up by 0.3, okay? Massive. Basically, your infantry, if you take it, are going to have as good a reinforce rate as the radio tech, okay? That is massive, right? So we take it. You can see that our reinforce rate is going to go up to 14%, which is ridiculous, okay? If you start stacking a radio on this, you'll reinforce even faster into battle, meaning you basically just org wall whatever is in front of you, okay? And the recovery rate basically means you guys recover their organization really, really, really fast, okay? Again, this is a meme thing. Next, large front offensives, okay? Armored Corps org doesn't matter. The infantry org, plus 10 for your motorized mechanized infantry is going to stack with your 5 for your leg infantry, so 15 org overall. The tank org doesn't matter at all because we're not using tanks in this doctrine, okay? Next is the human wave offensive, okay? Recruitable population plus 5%, and then your reinforce rate, okay? Your reinforce rate goes up by 15%, and your combat width for infantry goes down by -4, okay? I'll show you what that means in a minute. Recordable population, okay? Plus 5% from a doctrine is all of desperate defense combined. These two right here combined is what this one thing gives you, okay? That is massive. That's extensive conscription. 5% more people, okay? Again, we're throwing bodies at the problem, okay? The reinforce rate plus 15% is ridiculous, okay? Right now we have 14, okay? We're going to get 15, which is 1% more than everything we already have, okay? Massive. You literally will not be moved from a position unless all of your divisions just die. Literally all of them die and they don't retreat, okay? They die outright. It's insane, okay? And the -4 combat width, I'm going to show you right now, okay? So as we all agree right here, this is a standard 42 width infantry, okay? Now, if we take the human wave offensive, right, you're going to see that this this template now goes down in combat width size to 34.4, okay? Which means you can add even more infantry, okay? Now, you do have to keep in mind that you are kind of breaking the game doing this, because remember, this thing right here, this -4, was designed when there was 20 and 40 combat widths, okay? They haven't adjusted it, so it breaks the game even harder. So you could do some really weird things here. In theory, you can get this whole template, again, because they haven't adjusted it for NoStepBack, and they never will, okay? They're never going to adjust it. You can get this template, which is just all infantry, for 40 combat width. Again, 40 combat width is not ideal. It's not ideal for planes because remember, we have 90 combat width and we start adding 90s, okay? And now the combat widths are always like 21 or 42. If you're fighting in Russia, they can go up to 45, okay? 40 is just a weird number, but hey, roll with it, right? It's just what we're going to have to do. And it's a meme, okay? And lastly, our reinforce rate is going to go up to 29%, okay? This is insane reinforce rate. You will never be pushed from a position, okay, if you have divisions there, basically. Unless they all run out of org and they all retreat. It ain't happening. Lastly is Guerrilla Warfare, okay? Get a tactic Guerrilla Warfare. It's hilarious, okay? If you could actually stack this thing, it would be hilarious, okay? And Mass Charge gives you tactics combat width, okay? So what you can do here is you can technically increase your combat width with these people army and get more divisions in. That's why you can make the stupid 40 width things, okay? They're just not efficient, right? But they're just funny, okay? They're funny things to do against people. And for guerrilla tactics, you're going to lower the combat width as a defender, okay? Which means it takes you even longer to be pushed from a position, okay? It basically, you're just going to make the other player grind his teeth and like punch his monitor, okay? Your non-combat out of supply penalties are now -30, okay? That is ridiculous, okay? If your non-combat penalties are now -40 from pocket defense and this, okay? So -40. Your army recovery rate goes up by plus 0.2, which means it's now plus 0.5 just from your infantry offensives and this, okay? Ridiculous. Your infantry reorg insanely fast, okay? And lastly, resistance growth in our states plus 25% occupied by the enemy, okay? This stacks with the damage to enemy garrisons in our state plus 10%, okay? So what does this mean? If you combine all of this, you can meme somebody into basically, if you play China and you want to grind the Japanese down as much as you can, and you're going to die, okay? You know you're going to die. You want to leave the game afterwards, okay, and not do anything. You can do this doctrine, okay? And if you somehow join the Allies or whatever, okay, just hypothetical, you join the Allies, okay, you will then do a permanent damage to enemy garrisons on Japan the entire rest of the game. That along with the resistance growth in our states occupied by the enemy, which means your resistance will go up, which will do even more damage to Japan's garrisons, costing them more equipment, okay? This is a very effective strategy in the long run, okay? Again, another country that could take this is Poland and France, okay? If they don't want to play the rest of the game and they want to hurt Germany as bad as possible, let's say Poland is going to join Russia as a co-op and France is going to join UK as a co-op or something like that. They can both go down this doctrine, hypothetically get here somehow, and get this resistance growth, and then get the damage to enemy garrisons, and just hurt Germany's equipment so much that it's unbearable. That is one of the things for this. Another thing you can do is just, meme and die. That's basically what this doctrine is. And if you're playing single player and you want to have really, really, really funny numbers for everything you do in China and have ridiculous manpower, it's a doctrine to go down. Not a multiplayer doctrine. I wouldn't recommend it in basically anything that you're trying to actually win in, but it is a funny doctrine that you can go down, okay? So that's mass mobilization. I'm now going to go to deep battle, the actual doctrine you should go down if you're going down mass assault doctrine. Okay, so deep battle, right? Large front operations is actually a decent tactic, okay? This relentless assault is actually decent. Again, tactics movement speed goes up by 15%. I will link a video on screen that'll take you back to the specific tactics thing for my mobile warfare guide, and it'll tell you what this actually does. But just know, you move faster and you can reinforce beams and things. A tactics, tac damage goes up by plus 20%, and a defender actually does more damage to you, okay? And you can stack this with operational reserve to get relentless assault, okay? Which means that if you take it, right, you technically have a better chance at actually picking the damn doctrine or the tactic, okay? So use it as you will. Maybe use it, maybe don't, up to you, okay? The real big thing here is a -10 supply consumption, okay? Again, this right here is what this is for Grand Battle Plan Infiltration, okay? You can already see that we're starting to beat Grand Battle Plan in every way, okay? We already have -10 supply consumption out of this whole doctrine, okay? But don't worry, it gets better, okay? Deep operations. You now get Blitz, okay? Blitz is one of the best doctrines or best tactics you can possibly get, okay? You get Blitz from Blitzkrieg over here, right? And then you also get it from here, or you get Breakthrough down here, okay? Again, up to you on that. But remember, Blitz is one of the best tactics to actually use for the tactics movement and such. The armored car org doesn't matter. The tank org does actually matter for this. You get +2 org on your tanks, okay? Now, we're going to start seeing that we don't get as much org as mobile infantry, okay? Or modern mobile warfare. But it will be nice for what we're going to be doing, okay? Next, operational concentration. We get the elastic defense, okay? That tactic is nice to have. What's important here is reinforce rate and the max planning. Oh my god, guys, we're doing everything what Grand Battle Plan Doctrine does, okay? Oh, basically, this max planning right here is the +10%, okay? So your +10% max planning is going to be this grand battle plan doctrine right here. Already better. Okay, so now you're on equal terms. Okay, but the thing is, you don't get another max planning on the infiltration side. You only get it on the assault. Okay, so now you have more planning than mobile warfare and superior firepower, and you have the same as grand battle plan doctrine infiltration. Okay, this is important. Okay, and now you have reinforce rate plus 5%. Right. If we now look, you can see that we have 14% reinforce rate, which means we will be very hard to get reinforced memed and pushed back. Okay, very, very nice thing to have. Okay, and the max planning again I showed you is very good on us. Okay, next, vast offensives. Okay, now this is where we just start absolutely trashing on grand battle plan. We have another minus 10% supply consumption for everything. Okay, we get a tactic overwhelming fire, and our combat width goes down by 0.4. Okay, now again, this was before NSB came out, so it might mess up all of your templates again, but you do have the ability to have bayonet strength and then mess around with this and get to the combat width that you feel comfortable with, right? A combat width that you may try to get to is 21, but that is up to you. You can do whatever you want here. Just remember that you're going to have to start playing around with the numbers because, you have negative 0.4 off of your combat width for all infantry, okay? And it's your infantry combat width is already 2, so now it is 1.6 for every infantry battalion you add, okay? Just remember that's a thing, and it may hurt or benefit you depending on the situation. But this is negative 10% supply consumption is massive. Again, you now have more negative supply consumption because you have large front offensives and you have vast offensives. You now have 20% negative supply consumption, and then grand battle plan infiltration. Dreams it wish it had. Okay, but you get it. Congratulations. Okay. Next, breakthrough priority. Okay, breakthrough priority gives you the breakthrough tactic. Okay, again, one of the best tactics in the game, right? And you have to take blitzkrieg down here to get breakthrough. Okay, very, very, very good, right? And you get it on this side. Armored cars don't matter. Your tanks get plus 10% breakthrough and 1 org. Okay, it's not amazing, but it's decent. Okay, the breakthrough in the org is decent. Infantry get breakthrough, but more importantly, they get org. Okay, get another 5% org. Okay, which means your light infantry now have plus 10 org, and you can fit more of them because of the negative 0.4. You can now fit more infantry battalions into your division, which means your org is technically higher. Okay, just because you have more infantry battalions. Okay, it's very good. These combinations are starting to work well together. Next, mechanized offensive. Armored cars don't matter. Okay, they're trash. Next, your motorized, your mechanized, and your amphib go up by 10% org or 10 org. Okay, and the recovery rate goes up by 0.10. Nice. Okay, this starting to stack with the plus 5 here means your motorized guys now have the same org as your leg infantry, because the leg infantry get 5 up here, right? And down here for breakthrough priority, everyone gains 5, and then down here you guys gain 10, right? So you should start using motorized, mechanized, and amphib guys. Okay, that's what this means. Is you start using them, okay? Because they're going to be your support units to breakthrough. Your tanks get another plus 2 org. Okay, very nice, and your recovery rate goes up by 0.10%. Okay, we're starting to get to mobile warfare levels of tank org. Okay, which is very, very good on this doctrine. Okay. Next, last thing we hear is continuous offensive. Okay, org loss while moving goes down by minus 25%, and your reinforce rate goes up by 5%. Okay, and then you get backhand blow. If your generals decide to use backhand blow, it's nice. Okay, just remember that your org loss when moving for mobile warfare is only minus 10. Okay, here it is minus 25. Okay, which means that when moving through enemy terrain, okay, when you start moving through enemy terrain like this, right, every tile is going to take you organization when you're engaging in enemy hostile territory. Okay, which means you will have more org to attack enemy units with. Okay, which is very, very nice to have. And your reinforce rate goes up by 5%. Okay, now you can see your reinforce rate is 19%. We are very hard to dislodge from a tile in which we have guys in. Okay, And that's why continuous offensive is very, very good. Okay, so we've now gone over mass assault doctrine. We've gone over deep battle, the correct doctrine to go down if you actually want to use this, and the mass mobilization for the meme stuff. Okay, I'm going to go on to show you some templates, and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay, so some templates you can use with deep battle is going to be specific to how we do this. Okay, and what I mean by that is because this doctrine is going to lower your infantry combat width, but only for your leg infantry by 0.4. It means you can design some different divisions. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. So our combat width is on this template right here is 21.2. Okay, we're going to be attacking in a forest, so we want to try and get our combat width to 21. Okay, usually that's how you do that. Okay, is you can get it to 21 even number, but we can't do that anymore. Okay, but this 0.2 means that if we throw all of our divisions in here, right, and we get to 84 combat width, it means that our combat width will be 84.8. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. Okay, that's what this number should be. Okay, this unit doesn't exist, right? We're just going to delete him. So when we attack, you can see that our combat width, okay, on these guys right here, these infantry units is 21.2, and then it will equal out to 84.8, okay? Now, when we attack like this, you can see that it goes to 84, okay? And we are not suffering a penalty at all, even though we technically exceed the combat width by 0.8, because Paradox can't code. I gotta love it, okay? So this means you can technically get more bang for your buck out of your infantry divisions, again, from deep battle, okay? That's what this means, okay? Now, the problem is if we go to this template over here, right, and we go to 21.8, you're going to see a problem, okay? Because the 0.8 is going to go over is going to go over 84, right? Instead of it being 84.8, it's going to go over 84. You're going to see the problem, okay? When they attack, you're going to see that they go to 87, okay? Because of the percentage points of being of 0.8, okay? Now, you're going to see we're going to start exceeding the combat width and getting a penalty, okay? We don't want that, right? So, for your artillery, this is what I would do. Now that we know that, okay, we cannot exceed 1, but we can play around with 0.4s, okay? And basically everything to 0.4, okay? So an artillery template like this, right, which is what I would recommend if you're going to use artillery division like this, right? You have 9 infantry battalions, and then you have 9 artillery and 1 AT, okay? And you have all the support companies out the wazoo. Engineer support, artillery, rocket artillery, logistics support, okay? 42.4, okay? If these guys attack, you can see that they both join, okay? And they are not exceeding the combat width, so they're not getting that penalty, okay? Which is very, very good, which means you can start playing around with numbers as long as you don't go above 0.4, okay? Or you don't go above the combat width, right? So you need to know the numbers, right? You can't go above 84, okay? You cannot go above 84 unless you're starting to add additional attacks. Remember that. Can't go above 84 combat width, so you're going to have to design your templates around the fact that 2 of these right here will get you to 84.8, okay? Not 83, 84.8, okay? And not 85, right? Remember that. So, some templates I would use this one on the Eastern Front if you're going to go for a low combat width, because you can't get it high. You can't get it to ridiculous numbers like you were able to, okay? You can't get it to like 42 and 45, so stick with 21.2, okay? And remember to avoid going above like 0.4 on your 21 lists. Again, up to you on how you want to do that, but try and keep it at like 0.2, 0.8. Again, up to you on that, right? Try and keep it at 0.8. Up to you on that. Next, Arty, 42.4, and then your tank divisions are left completely unaffected because it does not affect any of your mechanized, right? So again, this is a standard template I would use. Up to you on that. I use logistics, armored, engineer support, signals. I'd add a flame tank on this. On top of that, these are your line holders. Again, they don't change at all with the support companies. Again, because they are not affected by it. Your mechanized artillery, again, they don't change. SPs, armor and engineer support, logistics, signals. And then here is the last template, okay? The last template here is if you take down mass mobilization, okay? And you're like, I want to be funny meme person. Just be funny meme person at this point and just put all infantry battalions and get 40 combat with. Just do it. It's going to be a meme. Is it effective? I don't know. Good luck. You have 68 org and your HP is ridiculous. Okay, and you're stacking it with operational reserve. You're just going to have a fun time. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to have a fun time. Again, if you actually pick mass charge, which is a thing you have to take right down here, you can increase your combat width and get even more of these guys in, right, for victory or death. If you take that and then you start going down mass mobilization, right, and let's just finish the doctrine, right, you're going to have a funny time, okay? Victory or death, stack it with mass mobilization template like this with the little engineer company, and you're going to have a good, funny time, okay? Is it going to be effective? I don't know, probably not. You're just going to get trashed on, but it is quite funny to watch your org go up to 72.8 and just be funny, okay? Other than that, just to wrap up real quick, mass assault doctrine, don't go down mass mobilization unless you're going to be a country that dies, like France or Poland or China, or if you want to meme. And then deep battle is the actual doctrine you go down if you're like Russia in a low supply area. It is actually a decent doctrine, not as good as mobile warfare, superior firepower in my opinion, but at least it is a good doctrine that has a purpose, okay? But yeah, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Otherwise, on the screen right now takes you back to my Grand Battle Plan doctrine video if you want to watch that mess that it is. Otherwise, people have a nice day.